Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Max One Realtor Partners, Realty Partners. This is our weekly edition of the Real Estate Backstory. So we do this every single week. I say we but today you're stuck with just Alan today. So normally my partner, Ming Richardson, is here with me, but today you're stuck with just the old man. So we're going to kind of jump right into it this morning. So one of the first things that I want to kind of go over is this week on training. We have we stopped all the CE classes for the week, and what we're focusing on is the Tom Ferry Success Summit. Now, we can't do that virtually, so we are offering it in our offices, but we're going to offer it multiple times with multiple replays. So we are going to be doing it on September 2nd and 3rd from 9:30 to about 5 kind of thing. It'll be 9:30 to 12 and then 12:30 to 5. It probably will end a little bit earlier than that. The event is actually 3 days, but we roll it up into 2 days because we cut out a lot of the fluff. So if you'd like to or if you'd like to come to the Tom Ferry event, we would love to have you. We will be posting additional opportunities in each of our offices to attend the summit. Every year it is one of the we just take so much really valuable gems away from the summit each year. And so it is completely worth your time. I know that used to be it was really hard for me to justify taking time away to do stuff like that. But then I came back or when I went to them and I came back, I found out that I was refreshed, energized. I had new ideas. I was refocused. So it's a really good thing to do. So I pray that you will join us. Simply reach out to any of the branch managers in our offices in the Newnan, Fayetteville's not open yet, Newnan, Conyers, McDonough, and up at the airport kind of thing. And you can find, and I'll post all their addresses and phone numbers down at the bottom if you'd like to attend that kind of thing. The summit this year has some really great people talking. Gary Vee is going to be there along with other things like that. So just a ton of really great information. Also, GAR is put out their annual conference this year, and it's different because it's going to be all virtual. So first of all, it's way cheaper. It's only $25, and it goes for a couple of days, and it starts next Tuesday, September 8th. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and so that's going to be a virtual event. If you'd like to attend that, please. If you're a realtor, really, that's also a really great event to attend. So every week I go over the news and everything I see that's going on in the real estate market. I really want to make sure that everyone is up to speed on what we're seeing out there, what's happening in the marketplace. And I came across one very interesting thing. So there's a marketing platform out there called the Red X, and the Red X it's focused on for sale by owners and expireds, things like that. And but they also do a lot of surveys, and they have a lot of real estate data. And so they surveyed their users, and they went and they said, okay, for those of you that make $250,000 a year in commission or more, what makes you tick? And for those of you that make $70,000 a year, what makes you tick? And then what are the differences? And so, the thing I want to kind of start off with is, for the $250,000 a year earners, what was their secret sauce? What made a $250,000 producer different than a $70,000 producer? Not that 70's bad. I'm just saying that overall, what is the secret sauce? And so, please, I encourage you to emulate them, because I'm not going to say that if you do these items that the top producers do, that will immediately make you a $250,000 producer. I can just tell you that every one of these producers are doing, this is their secret sauce. And so the very first thing is 100% of them have written goals. And this is a toughie, because do you really have goals written down, or are they just kind of in your head? Because when they're in your head, those are just a wish. That's not a goal kind of thing. The other one is 100% of them have a written business plan. I don't mean, again, a wish, a thought, things scribbled on a cocktail napkin. No, a truly written business plan of how you're going to operate your business. And see, when you start with those first two things, you're operating your business like a business. This is not like you don't work for the broker. All right. You are your own small business. You are your own company, and you need to operate your company just that way. And and we see that when realtors operate their business like a business, they get amazing results. And we see that again and again. On average, the average $250,000 a year earner prospects for 4.6 days a week, basically 5 days a week, they prospect. At the same time, the average time prospecting, and here's the really shocking thing, is 6.9 hours. So the average $250,000 earner prospects for 7 hours a week, basically an hour and 15 minutes a day, hour 20, that kind of thing. So they prospect for an hour 20, and then they go out and they do the rest of their business. Next thing is 80% of them use a script. They keep their scripts out there. They're out there and running. 100% of them have some kind of a client relationship system, a CRM, a database. 100% of them do that. And the last bit of the secret sauce is 100% of them have an office environment. Now, I don't mean that they all go to the office. That's not what I mean. But so many of us work from home, but our home office doesn't look any different than the kitchen table, okay? And so you have to have a place where you go to work. When I step in this office, when I go to this place, when I sit at this table, this is where I'm in the corner of solitude. This is where I go to get work done, that kind of thing. When you put all these pieces together, you can see how this is the secret sauce for top producers. We're not talking about, and it runs the gamut. We're not talking about you have to do for sale by owners. You have to do expires. It's not that kind of thing at all. You have to operate your business like a business. And if you aren't getting the results that you need, please, I encourage you, I beg you to look at what is the secret sauce that you're missing and how can you build that into your business. So, all right. Also this week, Georgia MLS was, well, not this week, but last week, Georgia MLS was struck by a cyber attack. Now, they told us on Thursday. The bad news is they told us on Thursday, 11 days after it happened, that people may have gained access to our login and our contact information. And so they also did not go out and say, you have to change your password. But what I'm going to encourage you is to be smart. We know that fraud runs rampant, and we've seen time and time again where real estate agents, closing attorneys have been hacked, but for a lot of us, we're kind of lazy when it comes to passwords. Like a lot of us have the exact same password on Georgia MLS as we do on FMLS, as we do here, as we do on email, blah, 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 blah. And so if they get your password on Georgia MLS, what else do they have your password to? And so I'm going to encourage you to not only change your password on Georgia MLS, because at this point it's kind of late, but if they have your same email address and login credentials and they already know what your password is, there's a really good chance that for the majority of us, they've got our passwords to everything. So please check your information, make sure that you're protecting yourself, your clients, and it's a pain in the rear end. There's just no doubt about it. But, we need to take this kind of thing pretty seriously because they are, the bad guys are out there and it stinks, but we got to make sure that we're protecting ourselves. New York State is going to hear from agents next month about a new discrimination probe. This is kind of an ongoing probe that's been happening for a couple of years in New York State. And a lot of people say, gosh, New York State is, we don't have discrimination in real estate. And overall, I'm not going to disagree and say that, discrimination is running rampant, but you also got to look at, well, look who slid in. Here
Good morning,
we go.
sorry.
So my lovely bride is here with us. So
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry about that.
All good. So we're talking about the discrimination probe. But see, where this probe or what this whole discrimination hearing is about is because real estate agents were trying to decide where people should go. And unfortunately, I can't say that I've never seen that happen. I've seen where, in case you didn't notice, my wife's a little bit Asian. And so, but what that is where we start getting into steering. Oh, you're Asian? You want to live up near Doraville. You know what? Oh, you're African American. You should live over here with other African Americans. Oh, you're white. Oh, you're going to be going out here where we see a bunch of other white people. And so, we're seeing that in housing, that's our biggest concern. And so we got to check ourselves here. I know that this is New York State, this is not Georgia, but we got to be wise too, and we have to make sure that these biases aren't part of us at all.
Well, it's fair housing rules. So if you're gonna go against fair housing, reach out federal. It's not a state, it's not a licensed law. It is a federal offense, and the fine behind it is very hefty.
Mhm.
So a lot of time, I'm sure you guys are approached by a client that says, "Hey, what is a mix of this neighborhood? Hey, what is, you can say." My standard answer is like, federal law prohibit me from answering that question. But for your safety, you may want, or for your own desire, you may want to drive around neighborhood during business and non-business hour to see, just meet your family needs.
Yeah.
And that's all you can say.
Yeah, because the whole thing came from this Newsweek article where they found that 39% of the time Hispanics were discriminated against, 20% of the time Asians were discriminated against, and 49% of the time African Americans were discriminated against, and tried to steer into certain neighborhoods. We have to make sure that we're being really smart about this, and that we aren't, and that housing is so important. We've got to make sure that we're protecting everybody in it. So, all right, new construction has really been rocking. Oh my goodness! So, sales in new single family homes have increased just huge for the third month in a row. We're at our highest level since 2006. 2006, if you'll remember, was back when we were building houses so fast that we couldn't stand it.
I think Henry County had 3 years standing inventory of building permit at that point.
So right now we're just seeing a lot of growth in new construction. Sales on single family homes in new construction is up 14% between June and July this past year, kind of thing. Right now our new home sales looks a lot like 2006, and I think that makes a lot of us kind of like take a because what happened right after 2006, it's happened in 2008. So of course that has an issue for us for sure. But you also, the positive side of that is we've not built enough houses. We don't have enough houses. We definitely don't have enough starter homes and that kind of thing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that kind of thing. So, but new homes, we need new construction because that starts the entire ball rolling. Someone buys a new construction home, now their home is on the market, and then their home, and and it just kind of works all the way down the line, kind of thing. One challenge, that our buyers and our builders have right now is that new home pricing is on average up by $14,000 due to lumber costs. Softwood lumber is going through we're seeing massive price increases, kind of thing. And this is just one of those to be a little bit more informed about, because right now the North American Home Builders Association is concerned that new construction pricing could go up an additional 20%, and that worries me more so than anything, because that means that our more affordable homes are going to be harder to find right now, and so that's going to be a toughie. But by the same token, this is not a made up thing. We really have, this is one of those byproducts of the Rona. Because production is down for a lot of our building supplies, that kind of stuff. A lot of factories have not reopened and not running at full speed.
And also, agent, please educate your client. Let them know why the price is going up, because a lot of times, a lot of buyers think, well, they built this 6 months ago and it was $10,000 less. You know what? That's not how builder works. And so if you educate your client, let them know, listen, due to coronavirus, there's less people working, less people producing certain products. So therefore, because of demand on this product, just like housing market, there's more demand than our inventory for. So therefore, price is going up. But the beauty of that is that right now interest rate is so low. Yeah, she can get more house for the money.
Yeah. So one of the issue we have is that right now there's a lot of Canadian tariffs on softwood lumber, and so we're hoping that there may be some light on the horizon for there. So on the mortgage front, guess what? Mortgage rates fell again. Last week they were 2.99. This week they're 2.91, which is just phenomenal that we're really talking about mortgage rates at under 3%. And we continue to talk about mortgage, and this is what's fueling our entire boon right now on real estate.
Correct.
Because we're just seeing so much really go on that that those interest rates are keeping our affordability low, and that's a really great thing for us, kind of thing. One thing that we do got to be careful of, and you need to warn your clients about, is that right now we're having some of our mortgage lenders asking our buyers, "Do you really plan to pay for this?" And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but what's happening is part of the new closing docs that several lenders are putting in, kind of thing, are some of these new forms. And basically what it is this: you have to promise that you're not going to go into forbearance. See, what happens is there's a main mortgage market where they sell a house, or where they fund a house. Then they bundle all those loans up into groups of 100, 50, 200, whatever, that kind of thing. And then they put them in a big group together, and then they sell them on the secondary mortgage market. If a borrower goes into forbearance before they sell that loan, they're stuck with it. And so that's kind of what we're seeing, is that they're going to make a lot of our clients kind of promise that they're going to pay, promise they're not going to go into forbearance, and there's going to be certain ramifications for that. We're going to see more of this thing going on.
And the reason why the lender asks this question is that lender get dinged when they're trying to generate more money to loan out to the borrower, and they get scrutinized about best practice. So unfortunately, if lender has been dinged once or twice, where you have a closing occurred and the buyer never ever paid their mortgage, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Now, also, mortgage applications right now are 33% higher than a year ago.
We're still rock and rolling, y'all.
So normally this time of year, we see mortgage applications doing this kind of dive.
Mm-hmm.
Mortgage applications actually are up 0.4% from the week before, which is just bonkers nuts, because normally this is the time when things are tapering off. Guess what? Then not only are they not tapering off, actually, I mean,
like you said,
0.4 is small,
summer.
but still it continues to go. And so fall is our new summer. We're continuing to be in a heavy buying season right now. And that's really great for our industry. I mean, right now, refis are still running, but these are mortgage purchase applications. These are not the refis kind of thing. For the 10th, on the positive side, for the 10th straight week, mortgage forbearance has declined. And so, the CARES Act really provided a lot of assistance on there for mortgage forbearance, and we're very appreciative, kind of thing. And that continues to drop. So we are really glad about that. One thing that the Fed did do this past week is they extended the foreclosure moratoriums until at least December 31st. So that's another one that's a double-edged sword too. Because they extended the foreclosure moratoriums, we are gonna. I mean, right now our overall foreclosures are down by 85% from last year, which was already low. And so we know that there's going to be some kind of a backlog happening here, that you just can't be down 85% and not expect that pendulum shifts back the other way.
And although I have seen a couple VA foreclosure coming through the pipeline, and also there are few, but Fannie Mae, there's very few that's out there right now.
Yeah. But there will be at some point, and honestly, this is going to sound bad, but we need the inventory. We really do, kind of thing. Because see, we've kind of entered this weird, uncharted territory of right now, mortgage purchase applications are up 33%. Housing inventory, on the other hand, is down 37%. Okay? which means that we are like, that's a 70%
gap.
I mean, like
To be a flat market.
right. If we have 33% more people looking than last year, and we have 37% less inventory than we had last year, that's a 70% increase in business over last year, kind of thing. So we really and that's the tough thing in the real estate world right now, is that we have a lot of friends that are having issues with coronavirus and COVID and employment, that kind of stuff. And meanwhile, like the world's on fire. We're all like, hey, what about house? Kind of thing, because, things for us are really pretty strong at this moment, kind of thing. Homes are going under contract under record time. We just hit we've had 3 very consecutive months of very strong growth, kind of thing. And pending sales are up 16% over last year, and we're going under contract
In record time.
mean, the fastest
Really?
one.
I mean, of all the listings that I see come through the back end, they typically go under contract within a week. The longest right now I've seen is 3 weeks, and that's due to price point. So, you just have to be diligent in educating your clients, and also listing agent. Don't advise your client, don't always take the highest net to seller, because you got to look at the file as a whole. And also, there's some client is okay waiting a little bit longer to gain another $5,000. So just make sure that you guys wait out all your, and also call the lender. Do some research on the buyers, because a lot of time, my philosophy is your lender makes you or breaks you.
And they do.
And they do.
So. All right. We are having high notary demand, and that's sparking delays in certain places. Now, as a brokerage, one thing that we're doing is all of our branch managers are either are or are getting their notary certification. I'm a notary. I'm going to encourage you guys to go and be notarized too. Here in Georgia, being a notary is not a really difficult process at this point right now. It doesn't mean it's going to be that way. And so I do encourage you to go ahead and get your notary. Just because, first of all, it's not very expensive, it's not very difficult, but in other states, being a notary is a much more tenuous process. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that Georgia will be upping the ante on what it takes to be a notary in the future. And if you're grandfathered in, you're probably in really good shape. So I would go ahead and I do encourage you, because we are seeing that more e-closings, more, and that the demand for having notary for these kind of things is really, really increasing. So please go out there and do that. On the housing, on the worker front, we're seeing that more younger workers need to return to the offices. Not that, when I say need to, about 70% of millennials right now are having challenges working from home. A lot of times our millennials have smaller children, right, and smaller spaces. And so working from home, when you don't have room, when it's really, really tight, and there's just there's nowhere to go. There's the dogs barking, things going on, all that kind of craziness happening. It makes it really, really difficult, kind of thing. Whereas the majority of boomers are not having any kind of problem, and Gen X, the Gen X folks are not having nearly as many problems. Our millennials are looking to go back to the offices much more so and faster than what we really thought. And I'm not getting in the coronavirus debate. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these are some trends that we are seeing right now, and that's kind of leading to what we're really seeing on the housing market. At the same time, the millennials are also kind of going through and pushing the condo resurgence. With when COVID came in, we saw that condos took a little bit of a dip. Mm-hmm. But now with what's happening with availability of homes, affordability of homes, and as well as just a lot of our younger buyers don't want to be hassled with having to mow the grass and want to be closer to city centers and that kind of stuff. They're kind of really pushing the condos. And what we're seeing is that the condo and townhome is the starter home for our younger generation. Like when Ming and I and for a lot of families, back in my day, we, it was a 3-2 ranch. We all started with a 3-2 ranch. But we used to actually start with a 3-1 ranch because we're really old. But I'm old. She's not. But when today's young buyer is looking heavily at condo, and I just find that a lot of agents, the average real estate agent's 54 years old and female. So we don't always think about condos and townhomes on the front end. But if you are representing millennials, make sure that you're looking at condos and townhomes. On the other hand, for our boomers and our Gen Xers, bigger is better. We're seeing a shift into larger homes, and square footage is king for our boomers right now. For boomers and Gen Xers, it's all about square footage, and we're seeing a lot of movement in those rings kind of thing. So Opendoor is now adding a traditional real estate brokerage model. And I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but to me it kind of shows that when Opendoor came in, they were going to disrupt the whole market. They're going to change the way things are done. And now Opendoor is opening their own brokerage, and so they're going to be trying to compete. What they really want to do is they want to go and say, "We'll buy your house, or we'll list it for you." Is where they're kind of going, and so it's funny to kind of see that maybe you guys aren't going to be that big of a disruptor because now you're just going to come in and start trying to compete with us directly. So I think iBuyers are having a difficult time with what's going on in the market, where things are going, trying to figure out their place, and so I found it very interesting that Opendoor is now adding a traditional brokerage model in there.
It'd be interesting to see what they're offering. Because it's all about the competition.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of that. So I wanted to kind of share with you a couple of guys who they look about as bright as a bag of hammers kind of thing. And so we had 2 men charged with attempting to abduct a real estate agent from a home showing. What they did is they got to the house first, and they parked out on the street. The real estate agent came in, parked in the driveway, and they went up and immediately tried to grab her and abduct her. Now, she got away because she kicked and bit and fought them off. And you can see that these 2 morons probably wouldn't have been that hard to outsmart. And thank goodness they're out there. But please be careful, be wise about what you're doing. I'm sorry, I would not want to meet these 2 guys out being a single lady. I think that's a really bad thing. So make sure that we're doing our due diligence on who exactly are you meeting at a house, where are you meeting them, what's going on, do you have a partner, do you have someone that that you can talk to, converse with, that kind of stuff. Even having somebody on the phone when
going in and out.
Yeah. When you go into a house, never lead the way. Don't ever leave a client behind you. You always let them go through the door first. Things like that. We've got to be really smart, because I hate that the world is a place that we have to be smart about this, but that's what it is. This is our reality, and you've got to make sure that you're protecting yourself. It is crucially important that we do that kind of thing. All right. So we also have federal legislation out there, which is looking to help buyers save for a down payment, which is really, really good. This is going to be very similar to a 529 plan. This is bipartisan, Republicans, Democrats, which is something we have very little of anymore right now. And so it's really great to kind of see that. But this is really looking to be one of those things that where you can start putting money into a 529, very similar to a 529 plan.
In case those of you that don't know what 529 is actually college education funding, where a person can deposit X amount of dollar into this account every year and be tax-free from their gross income. So same thing here. The federal is trying to help individual to deposit that amount into an account, an escrow account, so to speak, and be tax-free from that. So when you put your down payment, guess what? You haven't claimed the income, and you have the money put for a down payment.
All right. City of Atlanta is launching a program to provide rental assistance right now. So Mayor Bottoms has put out this, and they're working with the United Way And they're gonna and this is all aimed at renters. And I know that we're all real estate folks, and generally we don't have a lot of love for renters, but I understand that as far as coronavirus goes, and well, the issues concerning that, it is hitting renters far harder than it's hitting homeowners, kind of thing. If you were able to buy a home before coronavirus, chances are you can telework, you have the ability, you probably didn't lose your job, that kind of stuff. It's the folks who are renting. Those are the folks that got hurt, that are getting hurt the most by the coronavirus issues and during our pandemic right now. So I'm really glad to see that. If you do know of anyone that needs that, they can go to unitedwayatlanta.org. And you can see those other ways on there. You can go and check that out or direct them there. They give up to it can be up to $3,000 a month, and so they put over $22 million over to help folks during this time right now, and I just thought that was a really great thing. So I know that we were talking about fair housing earlier. But there was a new study which asked about what should be done to increase diversity in real estate investing. And so, one of the biggies out there was that we need to do a lot more education across the board. And I know that this is not necessarily just a diversity issue, because I just think that overall investing in real estate is one of those things that as realtors, as a real estate professional, the best deal should be ours. We should be investing in real estate. If you're really in this business, you should be investing in real estate. And you should have a comfort level about investing in real estate and be very pro about it, because it's a very, that's how we got into real estate. Was we were investors before we were, before I was an agent, I was an investor, that kind of thing. And so I do see that there's a lot of positive power for that, for all of us that are in the industry right there. One thing that came out this past week is that the federal agencies were asked to consider a move into federal opportunity zones, or O zones, as they're kind of described. And I also started to realize that a lot of agents don't understand what all these investing terms and different things are. So I want to talk a little bit about what is a federal opportunity zone. And so first of all, the federal opportunity zone is, these are areas that have been designated by the governor and by mayors of the cities, kind of thing. And an investor can come in and they can, and in these areas, if they go in and do development, they can save a lot of money on taxes. Basically, at the end of the day, they can defer their capital gains in here, and those capital gains will be reduced by 10 to 15% at the end of it, and as well as any money that they earn on that capital gain investment is tax-free. So the opportunity zones are a really good deal for those investors who are looking to do that kind of thing, but it's there to help create employment is one of the biggest things, kind of thing. Because when you look at what are the opportunity zones, on average, they needed to have a median family income less than 80% of the surrounding area, and had to have an average poverty rate of 20% or more. And so you'll see on this map down here below, these are all the federal opportunity zones around Atlanta. And it's not just here around Atlanta. I mean, if you look in Georgia, like half of Coweta, almost a large piece of Griffin, Covington, all the way through Atlanta, all out by Douglasville, there is a lot of opportunity zones, and we need to understand how those work. And so if you'd like to see what an opportunity zone is, you can go to opportunityzones.hud.gov/resources/map, and you can look it out. I encourage you to learn more about opportunity zones, because we are going to, next week, I'm probably going to talk about hub zones a little bit more. But with an opportunity zone, first of all, you got to know where they are, and wherever your trade area is, wherever you operate, you need to know what those opportunity zones are. Like if you don't do anything in Douglasville, it may not matter to you. But if you're out in Newnan or Covington, or you work around inside the perimeter, know where these opportunity zones are, because this allows you to have a really informed conversation with investors. We like working with investors, but we also are very leery of investors because, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You know, a lot of them, you're only as good as the deal that you're bringing to them right then. But knowledge is king, and they need people that really understand how to work with investors. And one of the biggest things is knowing what kind of advantages helps these investors out. And so being able to offer, well, I know where this hub zone is, and this can help defer your taxes. You can save a lot of money on this and that kind of thing, makes you a very powerful ally with the investors. So please look more into that. That's the map location where you can go and search that up. So every week we have our weekly accountability meeting, and you know
Keisha does a fabulous job.
She does.
She does.
Absolutely. But you know, just like in the beginning when I was talking about what are the consistencies and what's the secret sauce for the top producers out there? Well, accountability is also one of those that may not have necessarily made it on the list from the Red X, but it's definitely in one of those that we see that having someone that kind of keeps you driven, keeps you going, is crucial to your success. So I encourage you to please do that. It's every Tuesday for us at 10 a.m. You know, please, if we can be of any service, please let us know. We are here. Call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all.
He answers smoke signal.
I try.
Yeah.
So
not sure he's good at reading it.
I hope you guys have a great Monday. I hope your week is incredibly successful. If we can be of any service, please let us know.
Happy Monday.
Bye, y'all.